More than 2,000 years have passed since the birth of Jesus Christ in the small town of Bethlehem. From that humble beginning, the message of Jesus spread across continents, cultures, and generations. What began with a small group of disciples in Jerusalem eventually grew into one of the largest religious movements in human history. Today, Christianity exists in nearly every country on earth. Christianity across the continents. In North America, Christianity became one of the most influential religions. Many churches, universities, and charitable organizations were founded based on Christian values. In South America, Christianity also became deeply connected to culture and tradition. Large Christian communities developed in countries such as Brazil and Mexico. Across Europe, historic cathedrals, churches, and monasteries stand as reminders of centuries of Christian history. Countries such as Italy, Spain, and France have long Christian traditions. In Africa, Christianity has grown rapidly during the last century. Countries such as Nigeria, Kenya, and Ethiopia now have millions of Christian believers. Meanwhile, in Asia, Christianity exists alongside many other religions. Christian communities can be found in countries such as Philippines, South Korea, and India. Major Christian traditions. Over the centuries, Christianity developed into several major traditions. The largest branch is the Catholic Church. Its spiritual leader, known as the Pope, lives in Vatican City. Another ancient branch is the Eastern Orthodox Church. Orthodox Christianity developed in regions such as Greece, Russia, and nearby countries. During the 16th century, the Protestant Reformation led to the creation of many Protestant churches. Reformers such as Martin Luther encouraged changes within the Christian world. Today, Protestant churches include many different denominations around the world. Christian influence on culture. Throughout history, Christianity influenced many aspects of culture. Artists created famous paintings and sculptures inspired by biblical stories. Writers and poets explored themes of faith, morality, and human struggle. Musicians composed beautiful hymns and sacred music performed in churches. Architecture also reflects Christian influence. Some of the most famous buildings in the world are cathedrals and churches. For example, the famous St. Peter's Basilica attracts millions of visitors each year. These buildings represent centuries of faith and artistic expression. Christianity and charity. One of the most important teachings of Jesus was compassion for others. Because of this, many Christian communities created charitable organizations. Hospitals, schools, and humanitarian groups were often started by Christian leaders. These organizations provide food, medical care, and education to people in need. In many parts of the world, Christian charities continue helping communities facing poverty, illness, and natural disasters. Christianity in the 21st century. In the modern world, Christianity continues evolving. Churches use new technology to reach people through television, radio, and the internet. Online sermons, digital Bibles, and global conferences connect believers across different countries. At the same time, Christians continue gathering in traditional churches for prayer and worship. The message of Jesus remains the same: love others, forgive one another, and seek peace. Challenges and dialogue. In today's global society, many religions and cultures interact with one another. Christians often participate in dialogue with followers of other faiths. These conversations encourage mutual respect and understanding. Many leaders emphasize cooperation to address global issues such as poverty, conflict, and environmental challenges. The continuing story. Even after 2,000 years, the story of Jesus continues. Every generation discovers his teachings in new ways. Parents teach their children the stories found in the Bible. Church communities gather each week to pray, sing, and learn. Missionaries continue traveling to new places. Scholars continue studying the history and message of Christianity. The story that began in Bethlehem is still being written today. Final reflection. From the quiet hills of Judea to the cities of the modern world, the influence of Jesus Christ has shaped history, culture, and faith for billions of people. His message of love, mercy, forgiveness, and hope continues inspiring humanity. For believers, Jesus is more than a historical figure. He is a spiritual guide whose teachings show a path toward peace and compassion. And as long as people continue telling his story, the message that began more than 2,000 years ago will continue living in the hearts of future generations. There are moments in history when a single individual begins to change the direction of human civilization. Not through political power. Not through military conquest. But through vision. The ability to see a future that others cannot yet imagine. One such individual is Elon Musk. A man whose ambitions extend beyond industries, beyond nations, and even beyond the planet itself. His goal is not simply innovation. His goal is survival and expansion of the human species. But to understand how that vision emerged, we must return to the beginning. A curious mind in South Africa. In 1971, a boy was born in Pretoria. That boy was Elon Musk. From an early age, he displayed an unusual level of curiosity. While many children spent their time playing games outdoors, Elon often spent hours reading books. Not ordinary books. He devoured science fiction novels, physics textbooks, and encyclopedias. Stories about space exploration captured his imagination. Writers like Isaac Asimov and Douglas Adams introduced him to ideas about future civilizations and interplanetary travel. These stories planted seeds that would shape his destiny. By the age of 12, Elon had already taught himself computer programming. He even created and sold a simple video game called Blaster. For many children, coding a game would be an impressive hobby. For Elon, it was only the beginning. Moving to North America. As a teenager, Elon realized that the center of technological innovation was not in South Africa. It was in North America. So he made a bold decision. He moved to Canada, and later to the United States. Eventually he studied at the University of Pennsylvania, focusing on physics and economics. Physics gave him a deep understanding of how the universe works. Economics taught him how industries operate. But Elon was not interested in traditional careers. He wanted to build things. Big things. Industries that could change the future. The Internet boom. In the 1990s, the Internet was transforming the world. Recognizing this opportunity, Elon launched his first startup called Zip2. Zip2 helped newspapers create online city guides. The company grew quickly. In 1999, it was sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. For many entrepreneurs, that would have been the finish line. For Elon, it was simply the launchpad. He immediately started another company called X.com. X.com eventually became PayPal, a revolutionary online payment system. PayPal transformed digital commerce and was later purchased by eBay for billions of dollars. By his early 30s, Elon Musk had already achieved financial success beyond imagination. But wealth was never his ultimate goal. He wanted to solve problems that threatened humanity's future. The three problems. Elon often spoke about three major challenges facing humanity. First, sustainable energy. Second, becoming a multiplanetary species. Third, advancing human intelligence through technology. These challenges became the foundation of his next ventures. The birth of Tesla. In 2004, Elon became involved with a small electric vehicle startup called Tesla. At the time, electric cars were widely considered impractical. Most people believed gasoline vehicles would dominate forever. But Elon believed otherwise. He saw electric vehicles not just as transportation, but as a solution to global climate change. Under his leadership, Tesla created high-performance electric cars that challenged traditional automakers. Vehicles like the Tesla Model S, Tesla Model 3, and Tesla Model Y proved that electric cars could be powerful, fast, and desirable. The automotive industry was forced to change. Today, nearly every major car manufacturer is investing in electric vehicles. And Tesla played a major role in accelerating that transformation. Reaching for the stars. But Elon's most ambitious dream was not about cars. It was about space. Humanity had landed on the moon in 1969. Yet decades later, space exploration had slowed dramatically. Elon believed this was dangerous. If humanity remained confined to Earth, a single global catastrophe could wipe out civilization. His solution was bold. Make humanity a multiplanetary species. In 2002, he founded SpaceX. The goal was clear: drastically reduce the cost of space travel. At first, many experts doubted the company could succeed. Rocket engineering is one of the most difficult challenges in technology. And SpaceX faced multiple failures. Early rocket launches exploded. Money nearly ran out. But Elon refused to quit. Finally, in 2008, the Falcon 1 rocket successfully reached orbit. It was the first privately developed liquid fuel rocket to do so. That moment changed the space industry forever. Reusable rockets. SpaceX later developed the Falcon 9 rocket. Unlike traditional rockets, Falcon 9 could land back on Earth after launch. This innovation dramatically reduced launch costs. Soon, SpaceX was sending satellites, cargo, and astronauts into space. The company even partnered with NASA to transport astronauts to the International Space Station. But Elon's ultimate goal remained Mars. The dream of Mars. SpaceX began developing a massive spacecraft called Starship. Starship is designed to carry humans to Mars. The vision is extraordinary. One day, thousands of people may live on Mars. Cities could be built beneath protective domes. Human civilization would no longer depend on a single planet. If successful, this project could ensure the long-term survival of humanity. Expanding human intelligence. Elon's ambitions did not stop with energy and space. He also explored the future of artificial intelligence and human cognition. Companies like Neuralink aim to develop brain-computer interfaces. These technologies could one day help treat neurological diseases and enhance human capabilities. Meanwhile, OpenAI and other research organizations continue exploring the future of artificial intelligence. Elon has repeatedly warned that AI must be developed responsibly, because the technology could reshape civilization itself. The future. Today, Elon Musk remains one of the most influential innovators of the 21st century. Through Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and other ventures, he has accelerated technological progress in multiple industries. But perhaps his greatest contribution is not any single invention. It is the mindset he encourages. The belief that humanity should pursue bold goals. That impossible problems are simply challenges waiting to be solved. And that the future belongs to those willing to build it. Final reflection. Throughout history, civilization has been shaped by dreamers. People who refused to accept the limits of their time. In the modern era, Elon Musk represents that tradition. A builder of companies. A challenger of industries. And perhaps one day, an architect of humanity's journey to the stars. The story is far from finished. Because the future he imagines is still being built. Rocket by rocket. Idea by idea. Step by step. Toward the infinite frontier. There are people who build companies. There are people who create inventions. And then, there are people who attempt something far more ambitious. They attempt to redesign the future of civilization itself. One of those individuals is Elon Musk. For decades, Musk has spoken about a simple but profound idea. Humanity must become a multiplanetary species. Not someday in the distant future, but within our lifetime. Because the survival of civilization may depend on it. And that belief has driven one of the most ambitious technological efforts ever attempted. The Mars vision. For Musk, Mars is not just a distant world. It is humanity's second home waiting to be built. The planet is harsh. Temperatures can drop below -100 degrees Celsius. The atmosphere is thin. Radiation levels are dangerous. Dust storms can cover the entire planet. Yet despite these challenges, Mars holds something incredibly important: potential. Scientists believe the planet once had flowing rivers and vast oceans. Traces of water still exist beneath its frozen surface. And where water exists, life becomes possible. Through advanced engineering, Musk believes humans could transform Mars into a livable world. This process is known as terraforming. While it may take centuries, the first steps could begin much sooner. Starship, the vehicle of the future. To make this dream possible, Musk's company SpaceX is developing the most powerful spacecraft ever built. That spacecraft is called Starship. Unlike previous rockets, Starship is designed to be fully reusable. It can launch massive cargo loads into orbit. It can transport astronauts to the moon. And eventually, it can carry humans to Mars. The scale of the project is unprecedented. The rocket system stands taller than most skyscrapers. It is powered by dozens of advanced engines. And it is designed to carry more than 100 passengers at a time. For the first time in history, interplanetary travel may become routine. Building the first Martian city. Musk often speaks about building a self-sustaining city on Mars. Not just a research base. A real city. With homes, greenhouses, energy systems, transportation networks, and eventually, millions of people. The first settlers would face enormous challenges. They would need to grow food in controlled environments. They would need to produce oxygen and water. They would need protection from cosmic radiation. But humanity has faced impossible environments before. From deserts to polar regions to the depths of the oceans. Each time, innovation made survival possible. Mars could become humanity's greatest engineering challenge ever attempted. Artificial intelligence and the future. While Musk pushes forward with space exploration, he also warns about another powerful force shaping the future: artificial intelligence. AI systems are advancing rapidly. Machines can now analyze massive datasets, generate complex solutions, and even create art and language. Organizations like OpenAI have demonstrated how powerful these technologies can become. But Musk has repeatedly warned that AI must be developed carefully. If mismanaged, advanced AI systems could become dangerous. However, if guided responsibly, they could transform society in positive ways. AI could accelerate scientific discoveries. It could help solve climate challenges. It could design new medicines and technologies. In many ways, the future of humanity may depend on how we manage this technology. Merging humans and machines. Another futuristic project Musk is involved in is Neuralink. Neuralink is working on brain-computer interfaces. These tiny devices could allow direct communication between the human brain and digital systems. At first, the technology may help people suffering from neurological conditions. Patients with paralysis could regain the ability to control computers or prosthetic limbs. People with brain injuries could recover lost functions. But eventually, such technology could expand human capabilities. Humans could interact with computers instantly. Knowledge could be accessed faster than ever before. It may even become possible to merge biological intelligence with artificial intelligence. If that happens, the definition of being human could change dramatically. Energy and the survival of Earth. Despite his focus on space, Musk has always emphasized the importance of protecting Earth. Through Tesla, he accelerated the transition toward electric transportation. The company also produces advanced battery systems and solar technology. These innovations aim to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Climate change remains one of the most pressing challenges facing civilization. If humanity fails to transition toward sustainable energy, environmental consequences could be severe. Musk believes technology can help solve this crisis. Electric vehicles, renewable energy, energy storage systems, Together, these technologies could reshape the global energy system. The philosophy of risk. What makes Musk unique is not just his projects. It is his philosophy. He often says that humanity must take risks to survive. If civilization avoids bold decisions, progress will slow. If progress slows too much, humanity may never reach the stars. And if humanity never reaches the stars, our species may remain vulnerable to extinction. Asteroid impacts, global conflicts, environmental disasters. Many events could threaten life on Earth. But if humans exist on multiple planets, civilization becomes far more resilient. The long view of civilization. Most political leaders think in terms of years. Most companies think in terms of decades. But Musk often thinks in centuries. He imagines a future where humanity spreads across the solar system. Cities on Mars. Mining colonies on asteroids. Scientific stations on distant moons. Eventually, humans might travel to other star systems. That journey may take hundreds or thousands of years. But every great journey begins with the first step. For Musk, that step is building the technology that makes it possible. Critics and controversy. Of course, Musk's path has not been without controversy. Some critics argue that his timelines are overly optimistic. Others question the feasibility of Mars colonization. There are debates about AI safety, economic inequality, and the role of private companies in space. Yet throughout history, bold visions often face skepticism. When early explorers proposed crossing vast oceans, many believed it was impossible. When the Wright brothers attempted powered flight, critics dismissed them. When humans first attempted to reach the moon, many doubted it could happen. Yet progress continued. And sometimes the impossible becomes reality. The future being built today. Today, rockets from SpaceX launch regularly from sites in the United States. Electric cars from Tesla drive on roads across the world. Satellite networks like Starlink provide internet connectivity even in remote regions. These technologies are not science fiction anymore. They are part of everyday life. And they represent only the beginning of a much larger transformation. Final reflection. History will ultimately decide how Elon Musk's story is remembered. Perhaps as a brilliant entrepreneur. Perhaps as a controversial innovator. Or perhaps as something much bigger. A catalyst for humanity's expansion beyond Earth. The road ahead will not be easy. Mars remains distant. AI remains uncertain. And the future always holds unexpected challenges. But one thing is clear. The dream of reaching beyond our planet is no longer fantasy. It is a project already underway. Rocket launches continue. New technologies emerge. And somewhere, engineers, scientists, and dreamers are building the tools that could carry humanity into the cosmos. If that future arrives. If cities rise on Mars. If humans one day travel to distant stars. History may look back at this era as the beginning. The moment when humanity stopped looking at the sky with wonder. And finally began traveling among the stars. And at the center of that story will stand a man named Elon Musk. The medieval world stands strong. Cathedrals rise across Europe. Church bells echo through cities. The church holds enormous influence over kings, laws, and everyday life. But beneath the surface, tension is growing. Many believers begin asking difficult questions. Is the church still following the teachings of Jesus and the apostles? Or has something changed? Scroll a monk with questions. In the small German town of Wittenberg, a monk named Martin Luther studies the Bible deeply. As he reads the scriptures, one verse shakes his heart. The righteous shall live by faith. Luther begins realizing something powerful. Salvation is not something people can buy. It is a gift of grace from God. High Voltage: The 95 Theses. At that time, some church leaders are selling indulgences, documents claiming to reduce punishment for sins. Luther believes this practice misleads people. On October 31, 1517, he writes 95 statements challenging these teachings. He posts them on the church door in Wittenberg. What he intends as a scholarly debate becomes a revolution. Thanks to the newly invented printing press, his ideas spread rapidly across Europe. Within months, millions hear his message. Fire conflict with authority. Church leaders demand Luther withdraw his teachings. But Luther refuses. He declares, "My conscience is captive to the word of God." In 1521, he stands before the imperial assembly called the Diet of Worms. Powerful rulers order him to recant. Luther answers firmly, "Here I stand. I can do no other." His courage inspires many. But it also divides the Christian world. Open book the Bible for everyone. While hiding in a castle for protection, Luther begins translating the Bible into German. For the first time, ordinary people can read scripture in their own language. Soon translations appear in English, French, and many other languages. The Bible spreads across Europe like wildfire. People begin studying it for themselves. Globe showing Europe-Africa, a movement begins. Reform movements appear in many places. Leaders like John Calvin and Huldrych Zwingli also push for changes in church teaching and practice. New Christian communities form. Europe enters a period of intense religious debate and transformation. The unity of the medieval church is permanently changed. Sparkles a turning point in history. The Reformation reshapes not only religion, but also education, politics, and culture. Schools expand so people can read the Bible. Printing spreads knowledge faster than ever. Faith becomes a personal journey for millions. What began with one monk's questions becomes one of the most powerful movements in history. Sunrise, the continuing story. The story of Christianity keeps moving forward. From ancient apostles to martyrs, to empires, to reformers. Each generation faces new challenges. Each generation must rediscover faith again. And the message that started in a small village in Bethlehem continues reaching the entire world. The story is still being written.